Hey yo, I'm super tired. I still can't really see straight for some reason, which is very odd to me right about now. But we're back with our next episode of Sryth, the fantasy text-based RPG. Last time we finished the adventures for Sig, and we're in a dwelling right now in Sig. Now we're gonna see what's going on with that blue text. So thanks for hanging out and joining me. Let's go. Here's the thing. I know I'm still singing. Investigate a massive claw-shaped standing stone. You step up to the claw-shaped standing stone and discover that the massive piece of rock is actually protruding out of the ground. The stone's near-perfect curves and smooth surfaces makes it difficult to believe that it's an entirely natural construct. From all angles, the stone looks like the talon of some gargantuan beast poking it up through the earth. Engraved near the base of the stone, just inches above the ground, is a curious symbol. Oh. That's it? What's the symbol? The symbol engraved in the base of the standing stone is that of the claw enclosed in a triangle. You recognize the mark to be the scar of Arkindar. Arkindar, the fabled north. Behold the avenger, the perilous wonder that is Arkindar. Arkindar is named given to the vast frozen reaches of the far northern Sryth, a region more commonly referred to as the fabled north. Arkindar, a name of ancient Alvarian origin, roughly translates the realm of ice and death. The scar of Arkindar, a claw-shaped symbol enclosed in a triangle, is found all across the fabled north, etched in blazed on various surfaces and objects. Its meaning remains unknown. Legends tell of Dragon, a vast kingdom lost beneath the ice long ago. A kingdom said to have been more grand than any that currently exists. It's the game's Atlantis, you guys. Will evidence exists to support the tenets of the kingdom's existence. Rimhaft, an ancient walled city in the southern coast of Arkindar, serves as a region's lone seaport and only true bastion of civilization. Arkindar is not governed in any traditional sense and indeed knows no central source of authority. Through the Confederation of Loosely Aligned, much known as Rhyme Council, oversees law, order, and commerce in and about Rimhaft. Okay. This seems very long. Okay. This doesn't tell me anything. So nothing's going on with that. It's pretty much what it's telling me. Talaro. Oh, I can visit Talaro. Go to the church, we can go to the market, we can go to the tavern. Let's go to the market. Do they have anything that I can sell that we won't lose a ton of money for? Yeah, look at it. Here's the thing. Alright, let's go back. Alright, what I'm thinking about now is doing more proving grounds, which I'll have to go to Hawklaw for that. Is it Hawklaw? I also want to go to the Windless building and sort of see what my last skill is, which is lances. Where does one obtain lances? And we'll work on that, I think. I don't know why my computer is going off. Alright. So to get weaponry lances, it says we need to go to Sryth, so let's try it. Let's travel to Sryth's western? Yeah. Apparently I have a dwelling in Sryth. I don't feel like I do. It says I do. Dead or alive, the hunt for the phantom assassin. Alright. Control the city. The Blade Square. I'm not seeing what I'm looking for. I'm looking for Trin Keep. I'm busy, yeah, I don't have time. Should we approach? Because at some point I approached a mysterious stranger, and I lost all my gold, and I have a lot of gold, and it won't let me drop gold off anymore. This is the Well of Blades. Okay, wasn't trying to do that. Sage Rick spins. What's this? Adventure Collective. We're good here. Alright, let's go to the marketplace. What's in the tunnels? Let's go to the northern section. Move on the wide underground passage in the company of many fellow tunnel travelers. Troop of armored riders on horseback trots past you as you head north, drawing several nervous glances from those around you. Every so often you take note of the city guards steady watching the side of the thoroughfare, carefully monitoring the passing tunnel goers. You eventually emerge in the tunnel, passing beneath a tall stone arch in the northern section of the city. Okay. We got a monastery, a gambling hole, got Tarnished Key. Yeah. Okay, what about east? There we go. Trin Keep, that's where I'm trying to go. The eastern part of Sryth is dominated by the spawning grounds of Trin Keep. Though once a military headquarters for the Tessian army, it's currently a residence of Thane, Pyrond, and his most loyal supporters. I mean, I'm a loyal supporter. And so, let's go. Full guard stand before the gates of Trin Keep. As you approach the gates, one of the guards politely inquire your business at the keep. I'm here to see Thane Pyrond. One of your requests is carried to the messenger of the keep. Only a few minutes elapse before the messenger returns, but that Thane wishes to see you at once. The guards open the gate and allow you to enter. Once you pass the gate, you're met by another guard who promptly escorts you to Thane's private chamber within the keep. Thane Pyrond rises from behind a long closet table and greets you with a shoulder cross as you step into the chamber. He then offers you a mug of freshly brewed palo and a seat beside the fire. You graciously accept his offer and take your seat next to the crackling fire. I nearly forgot, says Thane Pyrond, suddenly springing to his feet. I've been meaning to present you with something in token of gratitude for your service. Follow me, will you? Is it my dwelling? Thane Pyrond leads you out of the chamber, down several twisting flights of steps, through a tall stone arch, into a high-walled courtyard. You follow him across the courtyard up to the heavy wooden door of a small tower situated in the northeast corner. A thin trail of smoke rises from the chimney that runs up one side of the structure. The tower was once part of the old keep, he says, as he raps lightly in the door. It served as a watchtower in days past, yet for many years has been residence here on the grounds of the keep. It is most recently occupied by Trungar. I trust that you will have little difficulty recalling that treacherous snake. The tower door swings open, and two men and a woman emerge from it. Their grubby attire and their grime-laden faces bear witness to what has been a morning of toil. All has been done as you asked, my lord, said one of the men, as all three of the servants bow deeply before the Thane. We've scoured it from top to bottom, and it's right and ready for this good lady. The Thane commends and then dismisses the servants, and he proudly ushers you into the tower. The tower's interior is much less dark than the outward appearance it would suggest. The crackling fire in the grand fireplace casts its flickering light off the well-appointed sitting room, and several shelves of old books. The staircase winds around the wall of the tower and ascends through the ceiling to the second level. Sleeping quarters are above, said the Thane as he pats you on the shoulder. I've no doubt that you'll be most comfortable here. If there's anything you need, of course, you are to let me know. These quarters are yours now, Alison. I hope it's to your liking. Stunned by the generous gift, you hurry to take the Thane, but he waves his hand in dismissal of your gratitude. It's certainly the least I can do to repay the favour done on my behalf, he says as he makes his way to the door. I can think of no more deserving of it than you, friend. Before you respond, the Thane has exited the tower, closing the door behind himself, leaving you alone in the newly appointed quarters. Hey! I'm gonna have a house everywhere soon. This ain't good as my castle, guy. In your private quarters in the grounds of Trin Keep, the crackling fireplaces in the grand fireplace casting a flickering light of well upon your sitting room, and several shelves of old books. The staircase winds from the wall of the tower and ascends to the ceiling to your sleeping quarters. Small windows on all sides of the tower look across a wide, high-walled courtyard. So I can store items here, I can leave, I can stroll the courtyard, I can visit the Thane, I can examine the books, relax in front of the fireplace. You browse through the many books that line the shelves in this room, noting that several of the volumes are detailed histories of the kingdom. One book in particular that captures your attention is a small book volume that details the construction and hidden history of Trin Keep. You leaf through the old book and are surprised to discover that several of its pages are dedicated to the very watchtower in which you now reside. A few of the passages appear to have been written in some sort of code. I mean, I have law skill. Through your mastery of law, you're able to readily translate the encoded message within the book, and as you read the translated text, you're surprised to learn that this very tower once stood over the keep's old goal. Gale? You're equally surprised when you feel the old Gale's as resident's political prisoner by the name of Thurnsbin was sealed into the dungeon when it was decided to discontinue its operation. That is now nearly 500 years ago. You place it within the shelf and turn your attention to the crackling fire. Yes, that is quite interesting. Alright. And I'll just say, okay, I'm at my residence at Trin Keep. Goes to the portal chamber and then step into the portal. I don't see a portal chamber. Examine. No, Alison, the arrival of the prophesied age of Ichthian has cast broad shadows across the realm. Turning the wild and remote reaches as a place to. Yeah, I want to see what else is going on in here. I can drop more items. 50. As you stroll along the high-walled courtyard, an eerie feeling comes over you. You cannot help but feel as if you're being watched. Suddenly, out of the corner of your eye, you spot a lone individual standing on the far side of the yard, partly concealed behind the thick trunk of an elm. The tall, lanky individual, his hand adorned with wide-brimmed leather hat, seems to be intently watching your every move. You strain your eyes in an attempt to make out his face, but it is obscured by the shadows and cast by the hat. You call out to the individual, receive no response. Instead, he quickly turns and disappears behind the tree. Rush over to the spot where you last saw him, but find no trace of the strange figure. Unaccepted by the outer counter, you can return to your residence. Okay. Well, this isn't helpful. I don't have a portal chamber. Apparently, I'm gonna have to do several missions for the Thane to reach Trent, what I'm looking for, so let's go visit him. Thane Pirate raises from behind it. Okay. Alright, we're gonna do this one adventure. Hopefully we finish before 40 minutes. Let's go. Thane Pirate tells you that he has just this morning been issued a directive from King Winrield, ordering him to deal with a series of poachings that have taken place in the area of Crownland to the north of Trithik, known as Northscarp. You learn that Thane is certain that a man named Coulzor is behind the poachings, and he is sought for a series of other crimes that he and his small band of outlaws have been involved in. He's quite the dangerous fellow, says the Thane, but then again, you're quite the dangerous lass, Alison. Yeah, I am. Alright, let's bring in the checks, Justice. Thane Pirate produces a large map upon which he points out the location of the area of the forest north of the city known as Northscar. You note that the small bit of forest extends southward from the larger wood to the north and is bordered on the east, west, and south by thick swampland. It's alive with game, says Thane, and as might be expected, draw to poachers. I believe you'll find Coulzor and his band about in Northscar. I ask that make every effort to bring Coulzor back alive. What happens to any of his men is no concern to me. It is important that an outlaw such as Coulzor be made an example of. I know, however, that circumstances might work against them taking them alive, in which case leave them where they fall, let the denizens and lost corpse clean their bones. The Thane tells you that you'll be able to identify Coulson by a large scar that sits beneath his left eye. I'm familiar with that wound. It's my own blade that adorned him with it. He said he escaped justice on that occasion and on many others. I feel that perhaps this time, however, his luck has come to an end. You bid the Thane farewell and set off at once for Northgate. The journey to Northgate is swift and without incident, and upon arrival you begin a search of the narrow swath of crown land for any sign of the poachers. After having prowled from Northgate for nearly an hour, you conclude that the poachers are still present. They must be hiding out in one of their two areas you rarely lead themselves to concealment. Rocky crags to the east, or dense firs to the south. East it is. And amongst the rocky crags in the eastern part of the forest, you discover evidence of recent campfires and several snapped and discarded arrow shafts. At the top of one of the taller crags, you stumble upon the dark mouth of a cave set back into the hillside. The opening is nearly 10 feet across, but covered with a thick blanket of vines and moss. Let's take a look-see. It takes moments for your eyes to adjust the dim interior of the cave, but your reliable light source flares to life, and you're horrified by the by the vast bones, many of them human, that litter the floor. Suddenly, something long and dark drops out of the darkness overhead and swings at you. Is it a spider? Spiker. What's a spiker? You manage to sideswipe the swinging object and assume a defensive posture just as the owner of the barbed tail, a tall, red-scaled humanoid creature, drops out of the darkness and lands on the floor before you. You instantly recognize this foul creature as a spiker, a semi-intelligent, cruel predator that preys on all manner of living creatures. Red-scaled humanoid creature. The spiker, its face closely resembling that of a human, stretches open its white mouth, exposing double rows of needle-like teeth, and the hideous creature hisses and lunges at you. So it looks like a human, but it has needle-like teeth in double rows and red scales. There are strange races of humanoid creatures whose faces resemble a human, but the spiker's mouth is nearly 7 inches wide and is filled with... Ooh, that sounds horrifying. With the double rows of long needle-like teeth. Spikers are covered from head to toe in small, thick scales. This red scale variety of spikers are most common, but few of these abominations are counted nowadays. Spikers dwell in remote areas of wilderness where they prey upon any living creatures unfortunate to wander too near its usually well-hidden lair. So they hid it. Alright, quick combat. You make quick search of the spiker's lair and discover some gold in the rotting leather bag beneath a pile of bones. As you turn to leave the cave, you spot bodies of 3 recently slain humans piled in the shadowy corner. You examine the bodies and note they are all men, and that none of them have a scar beneath their left eye, as the Pyrond told you Coulson would. It smiles, however, that these men are likely poachers who were part of the outlaws' band and whose days ended in a horrific fashion in the spiker's cave. Oof! What a way to go. You quickly make your way out of the cave. Barely 3 strides out of the cave when an arrow embeds itself in the ground only inches from you. You spin to your left and behold a bearded man standing 20 feet away with another arrow notched as he takes aim at you. You note a broad scar beneath the man's left eye, and it appears you found Coulson. With a sharp twang, the arrows release you of a split second to avoid the speeding shaft. Modification. You twist to the side, nimbly avoiding the speeding missile. The man quickly notches another arrow and prepares to fire again. Chase. Having apparently lost his nerve, the man tosses down his bow and takes flight. Bounding off into the forest, you're quick to give chase, but keeping up with the fleeing man proves to be no easy task. 107. Nearly prepared to abandon the pursuit when suddenly Coulson stumbles while crossing a small stream, and you overtake the fleeing outlaw. As you reach out to take over Coulson, he draws a long blade knife and stabs out at you. The stealthy attack catches you off guard. You dodge the vicious attack and launch an assault upon the outlaw. You want him to go alive, so just so doing. I have heartburn, something fierce right about now. I don't know what I do with my tums. Having to do with the cunning outlaw, you use the stripe of his leather waistcoat to bind his hand. And the security prepared to set off on the return journey to Sryth, where you'll turn Coulson over to the Thane Pyrond. Quick search through the outlaw's possessions reveals only a moderate quantity of gold and a long-bladed knife. Now you keep your common knives. Oh, don't keep it. You return to the Sryth and hand over Coulson to Thane Pyrond, who congratulates you on a successful mission and place the elusive outlaw in the dungeons below. during keep where he will wait transports to Linus to send trial for his crimes. I don't envy Colza, remarks the Thane. The king's justice is harsh and not privy to pity. Colza will no doubt find himself at the end of a stout length of rope, such as is fitting, I suppose. Before you turn to leave of the Thane, he tells you to stop back soon, for a matter has come up for which he seeks your assistance. Until then, go on, my friend, he says as you depart. Well, at least he gives me a choice. Hey. You put me back at the beginning? I'm trying to think about what red thumbs are, because my heart rate playing games. Because I'm eating bad, I know. I know. Alright. Gonna go straight back. Alright, let's read. This reads, by order of excellence, Thane Pyrond, exercising authority granted him by a beloved king, recovery is now in effect for all of Sryth. From dawn till dusk, those not engaged upon official city business are not in the possession of consent of his excellency Thane Pyrond and opposite permits to move by the city by any means. Recovery shall remain in effect until further notice. Okay, what's the small sign say? The small sign is badly battered, but is still somewhat legible. The very best weapons and armor you find only the rarest and most powerful weapons and armor at Taylor's trading post located right outside Sryth. On your way out of Sryth. Okay, thanks for that. The Plotting Frog Payload Den. Collection of round wooden tables, each surrounded by a disparate array of wobbly wooden chairs, dominates much of the Plotting Frog's cramped interior. Small fireplace provides a flickering glow that stretches across the main room, wherein is always found a sizable gathering of Payloadin's loyal patrons. On the mantel above the fireplace stands the bust of a leering frog, its left eye closed and its right eye only half open. Here Laura Miss Leah, the dean's proprietor, watches the vast goings-on with keen interest, adeptly directing her servers to tend to her customers' needs. Yeah, we can order. The payload served by the Plotting Frog is one of the best you've ever tasted, rich, smooth and bold. There's a slight hint of roasted nuts. Seated near that fireplace, you take the sights and sounds of Paladin's incessant bustle as you enjoy the steaming beverage. Okay. Let's talk to here Laura. Hey Laura, you seem to have a little time for idle chat. Greets you cordially and thanks you for patronizing the Plotting Frog. Didn't I hear a story about you recently regarding a dragon and a stolen axe? She asks, eyeing you curiously. When you shake your head, here Laura shrugs. I should know better than believe everything I hear about on this place, she says, smoking. Sensing that she returned her duty, politely excuse yourself and bid her farewell. A dragon and an axe. Interesting. Let's read the last sign. Saloon is a grand ring of illusion, the brave, the bold, and otherwise worthy. His Excellency, the Master of Illusion, the wise and venerable and illustrious Solunder, is seeking adventure for his great renown to compete in tournament like no other in the realms. Interest parties, the suspicious metal should acquire a dragon who feels just outside Sryth. Alright. Okay, I'm gonna not join that. So let's go about exploring the city. Let's go talk to the man. Not wishing to reveal that you're aware of his lurking presence, you begin to casually move in the direction of the tall, slender man garbed in green and grey finery, with whose distant gaze remains fixed at you. Covering nearly half the span that separates you from the mysterious observer, the man suddenly turns and slips away, quickly disappearing along the street. Curious as to the identity of the man, you spend just a few minutes waiting and watching to see if he will return. When he does not, you resolve instead to continue with your present affairs. Okay. You're running for it, huh? Alright. Visit my residence, yes. Let's talk to Thane. Adventures. Thane Pyrond has given me the task of traveling to the village of Cornwall to investigate a plea of help that arrived only this morning from the remote woodland settlement. Alright, let's go. Thane Pyrond tells you that this morning he received two travelers from Cornwall, a forest village several miles north of Sryth. You learn that the two travellers arrived bearing a desperate plea for the village, appealing to the Thane to send help. The two men I spoke with were not from Cornwall, he says. They were merely passing through and were asked to deliver this urgent plea. They knew nothing of the matter, and indeed said they not appeared out of sorts in the village. Not appeared out of sorts in the village. Nevertheless, Ellison, I would be severely remiss to ignore such a request of our Majesty's loyal subjects, and therefore I have asked you to pay a visit to Cornwall and see what more there is to this affair, if of course you'd be so inclined. The Thane appears to be awaiting your response. Sure. We're trying to get to the quest that'll Sure. Thane Pyrond nods grimly and meets you in a shoulder cross. He tells you it is a great relief to him that the matter is in extremely competent hands. Shall have a coach made ready to bear you to Cornwall. It's not a wow, what's happening? It's the heartburn. It's coming up. It's not a terribly long journey, although it is off the more travelled paths. The Thane retrieves a bottle of root wine and fills two small silver vessels with a thick, pungent spirit. He hands you one of the vessels and downs the entire contents of his own in one fluid gesture. Take care up in Cornwall, he says as you are finishing the drink. I needn't tell you that these are troublesome days. It seems the nights are deeper with each passing week, and yet sleep comes no easier. But forgive my ramble. I can't say that what it is that troubles me about this business at hand, but I should not wish you to tarry about the village any longer than necessary. Uncover what you can about this yet unknown matter and return in safety. You bid the Thane farewell and prepare to set out at once for Cornwall. The journey to Cornwall aboard the coach is swift and without incident, but upon arrival in the secluded woodland village, you are greeted by the sound of desperate shouts carrying out of the stables. Before the driver has even stopped the coach, you bound out of your seat and sprint across the village thoroughfare towards the sound of the cries. As you reach the open doors of the stables, you behold the source of the cries. Two men, their backs pressed against the far wall of the structure, are pitching a desperate battle against a writhing mass of yellow slime. A large pile of slime undulates and rises up until it towers over the two men, who then surges forward, throwing them up against the wall with tremendous force. The men, armed with a shovel and a pitchfork, deftly manage to maintain their footing and thrust back at the strange creature with their makeshift weapons. Attack! Dead. The yellow slime's no more. You step over the small quivering pools that comprise the creature's remains and help one of the men to his feet. They both thank you as you attempt to catch their breath. Almost got the better of us, it did, said one of them. You learn this is the second time today, that perhaps the 10th time in the last few days, that one of the yellow slime creatures has appeared in the village. Rector Pelbrim will be glad to see you straight away, said one of the men. We had word you were coming from Sryth. It looks like our good Thane does look past the walls of his city at times. The man direct you to the residence of Rector Pelbrin, and you soon find yourself face to face with the grey-haired leader of the village. Oh, we are always meeting leaders and Thanes. One day we're going to meet the king. Rector Pelbrin, the spiritual and political leader of Cornwall and several other nearby villages, seems relieved by your arrival. He confesses that he has heard a great deal about your various exploits and that he can scarcely believe that Thane Pyrond has set such an illustrious adventure to Cornwall. The Rector tells you that Rector, a spiritual and political leader, like a senator, I guess. Really spiritual, I guess. Not fake spiritual. The Rector tells you that the strange slime creatures began being sighted in nearby woods several days ago, and over the last couple of days they have started entering the village. I've never seen creatures of this kind, says the Rector, his voice tinged with dread. They are certainly some otherworldly abomination sent here to plague us. As grim as it all seems, I believe we know with some degree of certainty from where the foul spawn emerges. The Rector tells you that 2 days ago, a villager discovered that one of the ancient standing stones in the forest east of the village was missing, and that in its place was a dark hole nearly 5 feet across, large, leading down into the earth. It appears that the standing stone long concealed the entrance to some sort of cave, an underground lair, said Rector Pelgrim. I should not wish to conjecture who or what could affect the complete disappearance of a 12-foot standing stone, leaving no trace of it, but the fact remains that it's gone. Come to that, I'm certain that down the dark hole is where the answer to the dilemma that plagues us resides. Rector Pelgrim apologizes for not having offered you something early and fetches a decanter of strong wine. He dispenses the unappealing spirit into the 2 wooden cups and hands one to you. Politely sip the unpalatable liquid as the rector continues speaking. Ugh. Don't be polite, girl. I need not say the name, for it is all on all our minds of late. But surely the darkness whose age they say has come to pass has cast a shadow on us. I do not blindly observe the prophecies, and perhaps to prove only folly, yet I cannot ignore what I have seen with my own eyes. Rector Pelgrim finishes his drink and puts down his cup. These are strange times, and the villagers are already known the harsh hand of the last 3 winters. This last set of events is something we could do well have done without. I must be forward with you, Alison, and request that you work toward a resolution in this matter. Your reputation leaves no question in my mind that you are well suited for the task at hand. You may of course proceed as you see fit, though I dare say you will want to have a look into the dark opening of the forest that I mentioned. Yeah, obviously want to take a look down there. Having known the nature of the desperate plea from Cromwell, you must now decide your course of action. Well, the Thane wants me to go back, but I'm about completing stuff and resolving problems, so we're going to investigate the cave post-haste. Actually I'm not, because this is the end of this episode. We're at 31 minutes. You'll have to see what I decide when I come back next time. I'm probably going to go in the cave. I'm not going to make you wait. Thanks so much for hanging out and joining me. You know what I'm going to say. Peace.